Welcome to our weekly New Gambia platform talk show. Today is May 29, 2022. Today we're going to be discussing about waste management briefly, and then also the government white papers on TRRC. So we have an hour program, and then we encourage our viewers to engage either by texting or by calling us and give their feedbacks and ask questions. So I have my panelists here with Alas from Germany, Alas, and Sam Cisse, Indiana, USA. Mfamara and then Jaga they probably would join us later. Yeah, so waste management, Sam, are you going first, right?
Yeah, I can go first.
Or Alas will come first.
I can go first.
Okay.
Someone want to go first now.
Alice, you can go. You can go first if you want, and I can go on the other one.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll come later. Carry on, Sam.
All right, Sam. So waste management is an issue. As you know, we have a lot of dump sites. You have the Bakwete dump site, Talindin area, toxin all over the place, and it's becoming an issue. It looks like we are not getting hold of it. So let's look into the issue and see what are the recommendations or what are the things that perhaps the government officials can look into. So we'll ask questions. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Mrs. Swanet. Thank you, Alice. Definitely good to be with you guys again today. Even though I'm not in my office today, I'm sitting in my car.
You're in your second office.
My second office is the car, right? My son has a basketball game, and that's where I am. So they're on a halftime now, so I thought I'll run in my car and so we can get started here. So, but anyway, waste management is huge. There's a lot of aspects to waste management, especially in Gambia. There's really not a very systematic way of managing waste in Gambia, because if you look at it, waste management comes along with the health of the people, because we need to be able to manage our waste so that the waste don't end up on our streets, but also waste don't end up creating environmental hazards for people in Gambia. So if you look at it, we can talk about there are different aspects of waste management. A Bakwete dump site is a dump site, that's waste there. And it is a waste that it's a location that I've once talked about, not once actually, several times, released audios about. It's a location. It's at a location that is not very good. It's within the society, it's within the community. And really, my recommendations was to move that dump site outside of Bakwete, because this is the inhabitants of the people. But if I were to redo this, in fact, the Gambia, really government need to sit with experts and think about what is the best way to manage waste in Gambia. I know the area councils are doing very well. KMC is doing very well. They got dump trucks. They got things that we've discussed in the past as well. They're picking up waste from people. But the Bakwete dump site specifically, in my opinion, need to be relocated outside of Bakwete, outside of the Combo area. If you look at the Western world, they have dump sites where they actually recycle the waste. They recycle the waste. But the way that's done is there is a permanent location or recycle locations where dump is transported to. So in Gambia, if I were to look at that, I'll look at what I would recommend is, let's say KMC picks up all the all the waste from the Combo area, transported to somewhere outside of Brikama, where they will call it a transfer center. Transfer center dump truck will take all the waste from Combo to the transfer center, and there are other trucks that really take the waste from the transfer center to the processing center. The processing center is where they will be separating what is going to be waste and what is going to be renewable, or what is going to be recyclable, for that is good for the environment, something that they can recycle into something, maybe make paper out of it, maybe make plates out of it, paper plates, maybe make something out of it, but a recycling center. And waste is going to waste, of course, which can go in different directions. It can be burned down, it can be buried, it can be recycled and things like that. But if you look at overall, I look at Bakote as a big, a huge opportunity at that place for the government to move the waste dump site from there and reuse that area to actually build, for example, a recreation center, or in the past, what I said was a hospital. Because if you look at the conditions of our hospitals right now, they're in very bad conditions. And for them to bring them up to standard, you need a place to be able to really move the patients from Serakunda and Banjul hospitals to a new hospital. If they can build a new hospital at Bakote Dumpside, that it will be a standard hospital. That'll be up to standards, up to everything that we think of in a hospital. That hospital will have all of it. Then get all the patients out of Banjul and Serakunda to that hospital, training facility and all kinds of things, so that they can either knock down the Banjul hospital and rebuild it in the near future. Serakunda hospital, all of those could be renovated to bring them up to standard. So that was the reason for that. That reason I said to use that for. But at the end of the day, the Bakote dump site is in a very bad location and need to move because it impacts the health of the people. The second part on waste management is we need a good sewer system, a sewer system where all the drainage, of course, we need a very good drainage system in Gambia, from Serakunda, Banjul, the capital city area, all of them need to have a good drainage system where all the wastewater will go. When you flush the toilets, when people use the toilets and take a shower, all that water should be able to go to a drainage that ends up in a processing center as well. That goes through some filtration system. So if you look at all of this, doing things like that will prevent the gutters in Banjul, the Bakau, the Serakunda. I mean, look at the Brikama market. I mean, there's no place for wastewater to go. All of this is going into people's yard, or is staying up in the surface, and people are walking in very dirty water and filthy water, which is contaminated actually. And contaminated water can cause a lot of illness. A lot of things can happen from a contaminated water. You know, I felt sorry and sad when I saw at Brikama market when there was a little flooding in there in the rainy season, and we are approaching rainy season. It's already rained in Gambia now. You know, you will see those floods carrying a lot of waste, a lot of dirt stuff that should not be in the society. So our government at the end of the day really need to prepare for this and get a system in place, make budgets for it, and start working towards drainage and waste management in general. So I'm going to stop here for a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sam.
Alice, what is your take on the waste management?
Yeah, I think Sam has already said almost everything. Yeah, but that's just the surface.
You still have a lot in the tank. You still have a lot in the tank.
Sam, that is just the surface. Thank you very much. Yeah, when we talk of, we started in fact about the dumping side last time, but we didn't have enough time. We can still talk about it. Some even talk about it again. We can talk and talk and talk. Waste management in Gambia, I mean, and our drainage system problems and all, you know, I think we have to start somewhere, because these are topics. I don't know whether Sadauda or Jame or Barrow, one of them even try to look at it thoroughly and take it seriously. And when we talk about waste management and environmental problems and things like that, it starts already from, you know, the party stage which is very disappointing. You hardly see a party talking about the environment or having it in their agenda like other countries. That's where everything starts, up to the parliamentary stage. They'll never discuss anything about or a bill about the environment or anything. I don't even know whether we have something like that. You understand? So then you come to the presidential stage. I've never seen these presidents talking about the environment. You know, look at here. When I take Germany for example, I mean Gambia should not be like Germany, but I'm just giving this example that you even have a party. Their agenda is only for the environment, and they used to have a lot of voters because these people, most of them are also very conscious when it comes to environment, and don't see them. Most of them are very, very, very. They respect the environment. They respect the animals. They respect trees. They respect their woods. They respect the nature. I myself, I'm very happy when I go to the nature. But in the Gambia, I don't have the time. They are happy to go at the beach. We're having it there. But no, you hardly see people going to the beach because we don't see all these things as something important for our life. You understand? Even this party, they have a lot of voters that even our minister of, maybe you saw this lady, that's the minister, she's now the minister of exterior. It's from this party because they used to have a lot of voters, so they get this coalition with SPD and the FDP. That's why most of their people are even having ministerial posts because, and their agenda is only about the environment, the waste management, drainage system, things like that. So that is showing you that something is not there in the Gambia. You never see any party talking about that or making it as agenda. You never even hear the parliamentarians discussing about that. So it's just like it's nobody's business. And it is very important because we cannot be living in hazardous situations without knowing what's going on. People running to hospital without knowing what is the cause, things like that, because maybe they are drinking, how to call it, poisons somewhere, because we don't have a drainage system. So when we come back to our dumping site there, we just started it. I just said that even the people who are having these boreholes around that surrounding, I mean, it's good when you have a borehole or you have a well, but they have to cook this water to be on the safe side. Many people don't think about it, but don't see that dumping place as something good. That is very dangerous. Not only the smoke, it's a dumping place where everything is coming. Rest meat up to plastic, up to any hazardous thing is coming there. Sometimes it will burn, and there are certain things when you burn them, they'll be very poisonous. So, and all these things, I can explain it maybe easier. When the rain comes, fell on the ground and find its way through these layers up to the gravel, they call it gravel layer. These are natural filters going on. God did it. Filters this water until this water comes to the groundwater, you call it. This groundwater is the water what we see when we make a well like 7 meters, you reach the groundwater and it's looking very clean. But before it was dirty water, but the fact that it is filtered up to these 7 meters down, so you have this natural, nice and filtered water. So that being the case, when you come to dumping site there, we all know how poisonous that place is. So now when the rain comes, what will happen?
Right.
So this poison can land the groundwater. And this groundwater is not only at Bakote, it can only up to the whole of Serekunda. You should not just underrate it, you know. And these chemicals or whatsoever, or poison or anything, must not be, but they have to control this water before people drink it. And the people having boreholes or wells around that end, they have to be very careful. Normally, the Gambia government should have somebody who should go out and test this water for the people. Because if not, it's going to cost the government or the hospital again a lot of money to buy medicine. Because people are coming with different kind of diseases, they don't know what's going on. And the answer is there. They are living there, they are breathing this poisonous smoke, and they are drinking this poison going to the ground also. You know, so we should not underrate that. So that we're just talking of dumping site. So the next thing is we have a lot of cars and car repair, things like that. You have them on every corner in the Gambia, and nobody is looking what they're doing. You see this machine oil is very dangerous, toxic and poisonous. And every corner you have a workshop. And these workshops, nobody mind, nobody cares. You know? So if this oil also happens to go down, it's also going to the groundwater, which is also going to be dangerous for the people to drink it. But many people, they just drink the water. Nobody cares what is inside or not. But the next day, when they have a very dangerous disease, they run to hospital. But still, they never think of the water I was drinking, because nobody tells them, and they don't understand it, and they don't even think about such things. But it can happen, you know. And normally, if it is in Germany here, such workshops, we are not even mad to do it openly. We have to do it in a closed hall, and even the ground is going to be tested sometimes. Some months they'll come and make a probe from the water, the ground, not even the water, but the ground, whether there is anything to see, something poisonous or anything. So the drainage system, the same thing. They'll test the water, take it to their laboratories, and then look whether there's anything to find. So you understand?
Yeah.
So if they happen to find anything, be careful, my friend. You are going to jail, or you are going to pay a lot of money that you'll close your workshop. These people don't play with that. Because of what? The insurance is going to pay when you're sick. So that's it. So the insurance also makes sure that you don't go to that station of getting sick, because for them it's losses. It's the same thing when I drive. I say, okay, I'm not going to use my belt. Normally, everybody will say, it's your own life. Who cares? But here you cannot do it. If you do it, you pay like 40 euros. Some people will say, why? It's my life. No. Because when something happens to you, the insurance is going to pay. So they want to pay. They also make sure that it's a law. You understand? So these are things, they are not happening in the Gambia, but there are certain things is for our own safety, you know, because we have a lot of problems and dangerous things. We just step on it and go. Nobody thinks about it. Normally, we have to get controllers who are going to control all these workshops, every corner, where this oil is going, because some can just throw it away in the night. It's going in the groundwater.
Exactly.
Who is controlling that? Nobody cares.
Mhm.
The next person can build, have a bowl 10 meters away. What are they drinking all the time? Nobody cares. So I think, especially about waste management, we have to do a lot. I mean, all the time, Africa, Gambia was okay because we didn't have a lot of cars, a lot of environmental hazardous things coming inside and things like that. You know, our waste was more organic than any chemical or anything. But I think we imported a lot of nonsense in the Gambia now that everything is dangerous. Even the cars. The
Exactly.
cars coming to Gambia are cars these Europeans say no, they should not even drive on the street. You understand? And these are the cars we bring in the Gambia. And these are the cars we drive up to and then leave it somewhere standing. Because we cannot recycle it. You understand? We have that problem too. We have a lot of cars and Gambia cannot recycle any iron, any metal. So what are you going to do? We are going to stand somewhere and it's raining and it will get roasted, and all these chemicals are going again in the soil. And we are going to drink that after in some years as water, fresh water. So we get sick and even doctors cannot even say what happens.
Exactly.
Then they'll start, lem or domayegotopa, not such nonsense because they cannot go and know what's happening. And they cannot even imagine that even this dirty water they drink, that can get somebody mad, not even killing you. But, and these are the things we should not always underrate. We have to be very careful and then try to preserve our environment. I know it's a big job because none of the presidents took that seriously. Normally, you have in the Gambia certain groups fighting about that, talking about that, Most of the people from Burford, I think they are also very, very conscious, about the environment, maybe because they are also, suffering. They always have to fight, with this Chinese unwell nonsense there. What they are doing is also very dangerous. Nobody cares. It's as dangerous as the dumping site, or even more dangerous because they use chemicals to make their processing there, and then after they just throw it away, or they put it even in the sea, which is poison. So that means the fish we are going to catch tomorrow, they already fed from this thing, and that is going to be fried fish on our table, on our plates. You understand? So you don't live in Burfoot, but you are eating their poison in Birkama.
Exactly.
Because you bought the fish. You understand? So these are things we should not underrate. Even the President Barrow, if these kongs he is eating, they happen to be in the sea and ate this Chinese waste, he is also going to have that on his table. But nobody think so far this way, And it's very important. We have to be conscious about our environment. Times are gone where everything was natural. Even the drainage was no problem because the drainage was, most of it was organic. And the organic things, the environment can work, with it because it's natural. Well, once you have these chemical poisons, and the nature cannot start anything with it. It can only end somewhere by water management on things like that, and try to neutralize these chemicals inside so that the human being can drink it again. The fish in the water can have it again. And I don't know whether we have these water management properties there in the Gambia. So I think with waste management we can go and talk the whole day. But I mean, these are things we have to take seriously. The parties should talk about it. They should not always come out by election, tell the people, come and vote me. These are all things they should be working on, without being elected. Because being a party, you have to get agenda. You have to get somewhere where you want to take the people. You have to think of the health of your people running after you. That's where it starts. Then you have to talk about the environment, the how to call it, the environment. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Alice. I think Sam is in the game. Yeah. So about waste management, you guys have given a comprehensive thought on that, how to issue. As we know, the waste in the back of the area in other part of Banjul is really toxic. I visited 2019. I visited the Gambia, so I was taken to Latrikunda area, and I see some people living in habitats in the waste dump sites, building houses there, and then you can see the smell. Some kids are playing inside the waste area. I couldn't imagine how people can survive or people can live in those kind of area. But they said that they said that they were there and that the sea is coming in, taking out, like the ocean, the water is coming in gradually to their lands. They have nowhere to go, and then they had to put some garbage there in order to be able to stand and then be able to be in inhabitants there. So the question I have is, what is it that us as people and the government would do? I know each municipality is doing their own work. You have the KMC, the Banjul, the Banjul area and so forth. The mayors are having their councils, helping out. But government as an entity as well, what do you think, should be our approach to make sure that waste are controlled, especially like, finding ways how we can control our waste without poisoning our drinking waters, our environment, our health issue? Because some of these things, they can outbreak into sickness. If you are inhaling this, I took a walk to go to Bakau Kachikala. I drove over there with KMC folks. When we went there, the quarter thing called where the running water, they were stagnant there. They're dumping so much garbage there, the water doesn't move, and that started to smell. The moment we get next to there, we started doing like this and covering our nose. So that tells you, that the water that's supposed to be there running to the sea, it's not doing it. And people are sitting on top of those things, doing attire, hanging out there. Because the smell becomes so used to it, now they don't even feel it. But as a newcomer, the moment we drove up, we started saying, I said, what is this smell? They said, this is how the place.
So that alone can make you sick.
Exactly. So what is it at our individual capacity we can do to control the issue? Secondly, what is it that the government and this municipality could do? If you guys can, come into those questions.
Yeah, how I see it is that both sides should take that seriously, because here is about the lives of people. The president also play his part. KMC should also play his part, as Sam said. He's wishing that they put away this dumping site there outside, which is very important, because if they can sell these lands all over, they should take 1 or 2 or 3 somewhere and outside, because you should not have such things in front of the people. That's where it starts, because nobody is taking it seriously that these things can kill, and they are killing, just that
Okay.
people don't know it.
Yeah, but the point here, Alas, is that if you go and put something there, like a container or stuff, people are dumping stuff there. The problem is there is no mechanism whereby this, these trucks will come and take these these garbages on constant basis, on a daily or maybe every 2 days or so, or 3 days, to take it to a site whereby they will be manufactured, they will be processed, and find a way how to how they could be contained without causing any damages to our environment.
Yeah, at the moment we don't have waste management like plan or companies doing recycling also. What we can do is we can separate it ourselves, and that is something KMC can do. Employ people. I mean, first they move away this dumping site because it's very hazardous. It's been there too long ago, and still is there. Before people used to make even jokes. SOS, is direct opposite. Normally
that's close to my house. That's close to my house.
Yeah, that is save the children. But if you see what the children are breathing the whole day, that is very different from saving them.
No, actually, it's toxic.
Which is true.
Toxic.
But Gambian people don't see that. They see only smoke. They see only smoke. They see only smoke and fire. They don't even go to the extent of thinking what is going to the groundwater, because after they are going to drink that water also. You understand? So we have to be very careful. Even these kids, they have to check all of them, not that they are suffering already from cancer, because people don't take things like that very seriously. So as I was saying, the dump site should always already move, and then KMC should employ people who are going to separate this waste also, like metal, plastic, organic things. You can throw them away, the nature can deal with it. But things like plastic, metal, and all these things, you can separate them. And KMC can have a team, instead of police, KMC, they can go and do that job. You understand?
But
because that is more productive. And these things, the government or KMC themselves, they can make very big containers and send them back to Europe, because we cannot recycle. Many countries are doing that. Things that they cannot recycle, they pack them. Even China is doing that. America will send them something, and they'll also send America containers full of plastic back. You can make research. You'll see it. They'll send America back containers, because for them to make the recycle is costing them more. So they send it to America. So these are all things you have to make it.
So there must be a plan. In other words, there must be a plan.
A plan and contract. Like when we have here a company you have a lot of plastic recycle companies. They also need plastics, for example. Sometimes they have shortages. I mean, different countries to find them out.
But imagine
and make contract with them. They can even come and haul it.
Imagine having to ship all those empty plastics and stuff on a regular basis to outside country. That's also cost. It
depends. It depends. Even metal. Some countries, before the car standing anywhere, they'll try and make a contract with a company who needs it. The ship will come and they will be shipped. And
so which one is cost effective? Having to introduce that mechanism or the process in the country, or having to have to ship to other country?
Normally KMC can make such deals. You just have to get the right partner. I mean, they are traveling all over the world. These are things they can do. Take a trip Before you look in internet, you know, you have a lot of recycling companies. Go to them, ask them whether they can take our metal also. If they agree, they can even come and hold us. You know,
Okay.
so it's
So
different.
that needs to be looked into. Okay, but
Because
that's a
for
good
them, they
point.
need it then. You have to recycle
Yeah.
to use that metal and they are going to
Okay.
sell it again. The
Okay.
plastic, the same thing.
Yeah. Now another question is, that's a good point. I mean, I think that's something that to bring it to the KMC mayor and the Banjul mayor's attention.
Even the government can do that.
Yeah.
We can even win
At the government level as
we
well.
can even make money from that. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they are listening. Now, the other question is, what about the non-recycled stuff? Things like, people's waste and stuff like that. How
Yeah, you say the organic. The organic is not very, very dangerous. Like, for example, banana leaf, mango leaf, and things like this. These are natural waste. You understand? The natural waste, they are organic, and everything organic, the nature can deal with it.
Yeah, but it has to be processed.
You are even organic.
Yeah, but it has to be processed. Correct.
Yeah, but even if you die, you are organic. You can only be lucky that they put you in a grave so that you don't smell. But even if you lie outside, in 3 weeks, you're
you will be
gone.
decomposed. I understand that. But
So
now,
that's it. That's it. So you have this organic material like banana leaves and all, because these people are going to separate that. If you separate it, and the organic material, that is easy. You can burn it even if you want. But if not, just dig a hole, put them there. The nature will deal with it, will neutralize it. But when
so
you have
now,
poisonous oil on things like that, that's where the things
so
are
now
cracking.
then the question comes that these people who are throwing stuff, they either don't have a mechanism in place, like let's say that would come and then pick this stuff and then kind of locate a place. It could be somewhere. We could create a farm somewhere. A big government can say, this one will be used for processing stuff. So the issue would be transportation and making people also adapt to putting, garbage, taking out garbage and be responsible for them. And then let it get in transport to a site, a location where, like you said, they are natural organic, they can be processed and become fertilizers, maybe burned, and be reused for other stuff, but we have to have that. First of all, we have to have the site. Gambia
That's where we should start. We should start,
Gambia right
as
now.
Sam said it also, and it's a lot of Gambian people concerned that this dump site should go away from there, because that's the most dangerous thing. You cannot put that in front of the people. That is if I was Barrow, that was the first action I'll take, to make sure that this thing is placed somewhere else. I give you one example. Last week, I think, there is one country in the south. You know what they are doing now? They are also separating it. And the organic waste, they are making fertilizer from it. They were interviewing this man because of this Russian war. So they used to get their fertilizer all the time from Russia. So now it's an African country in the south. Now they are trying to make their own fertilizer dealing with this organic waste. And what's the problem? It's functioning. Just that we have all these things, but normally we leave them there and try to order outside waiting for the ship. But it's there. So right now, I think the war is good for them, because they try to look how to make fertilizer, because they used to have it from Putin. So now they are trying to make their own fertilizer, and these are things we can do. We just have to separate the waste. Exactly. Take the organic and then try to put there are some chemicals they used to add in it, and let it stand for 1 month, 2 months, I don't know. It will decompose and then form itself. Then you have fertilizer, which is going to be very good again for the production on the fields. But we don't care about all these things. We just sit down and wait till the white man come, as I used to say, and tell us what to do.
Exactly. Exactly. So what I'm saying, before Sam comes in, the question that I'm having now is that we need the site. I mean, there might be sites, but they are not probably, effective the way they want it. I mean, they're supposed to be. We need the site. We need the processing tools. We need also people to be disciplined to be able to put garbage and to be able to contain garbage. Because you can, if people are not following that protocol, they have to be caring about their own well-being and making sure that they know what they put out there is toxin and could really do damages to themselves in their environment. So that commitment has to come from people, and then it has to be. The government has to also, or the city, put some enforcement. If anybody don't do it, you're gonna get fines. Correct? Yeah. It's one way. It's one way to have the system, but it's another way for the implementation to take place.
Yeah, I think for people, it's not going to be a problem. But we need people, some people train people from KMC to go and inform the people. I think when the people, Gambian people, once understand the dangers and then what they have to do, they'll do it. But they never have somebody like what we are discussing who told them this and that and that and that. And they can separate it too. We're doing that here in Europe. We separate our waste. You have a special ton for organic. You have a special ton for plastic. You should not mix it. The plastic, you have to put it, anything plastic, you put it in that place. Anything organic in the green one, and we have the blue one, everything paper on cartons in the blue one. And they collect it also different dates. Everybody knows when they come for organic, when they come for green, things like that. And it's also easy because people are also doing their part at home. The plastic, what is going to be recycled, is easy. Then they can just take it like that to the recycling company because we've done already the work at home, indirect. So when we come to Gambian waste, everything is mixed. That means we have to start right at the beginning at home, that people try to separate what is metal, what is, but you have to give them these boxes where they can put the, because here we have it, the blue tons, you have the papers and so,
I think before Sam comment, I think KMC right now they have some has many dumping trucks now. They try to facilitate the pickups. So I think the site is already, I think they are working on that to kind of change the site from Bakote dumping site to try to, because people are complaining, including myself, from Bakote.
I hope it's not late because that is too long there. I think even if they move them, let them try and check all people living around Bakote and that area, whether they are not suffering from cancer already. And that is not a joke.
Well, I live around there.
I hope not. I hope not. Yeah, that's serious.
I live around there. What do you try to say? Okay, but anyway, that being said, Sam, question for you. What is Sam? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what I know you are you're moving now, but what is your key thing? What is your key thought? Alas has already gave us his thought and to try to mitigate this dumping. I mean this issue of waste management. Besides the ones that we've taught, have you any other ideas that you think because already now people we need to be accountable. The municipality need to be accountable and so forth. So now we're talking about Alas mentioned about having to separate the garbage and the recycled ones and kind of like ship them somewhere, perhaps, if Gambia cannot process it. Or I was saying, maybe if we have a mechanism to do that, we invest on that on site and probably create a site that the ones that are organics can be processed and probably used as fertilizers and so forth. But the people have to be trained, and then they also have to be accountable in collecting their garbages, making sure that they they tie them, they put them, they clean and then put stuff in one place so that there won't be any littering around. So that's people's responsibility, and there should be fines associated to that. So those are the points that we've been discussing. What other thoughts do you have that you think would make this process easier?
Well, it's not an easy process. There's a lot of due diligence that need to happen before we jump into conclusion. There's a lot of organization and planning that needs to take place behind the scene to be able to treat waste, to able to treat the waste, basically waste management. There's also water treatment, so people can have quality water, but at the same time, uh, think about where is the waste going to end up. So it needs proper planning. Like I always say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So the planning really need to be there. Location need to be identified somewhere that they can make a processing center where all the waste, the garbage that get collected is going to, before we tell people to start to separate them. Because when you tell people to separate them, yes, they can separate can from paper and paper from waste and all of that stuff. But then once they separate it, who's going to do what? Where is that going now? If they don't have a place to take them. So that becomes a critical factor in it, where the government need to identify that, need to be able to take all the trucks that transport that. It needs planning, it needs budget. They need to have trucks that will be transporting all the waste from the collection within the inner city to a transfer center. From a transfer center, these trucks will now take them to the processing center. The processing center is very important, where they are going to process all this waste and separate the good from the bad, what's renewable, what can be used, in the environment, what's environmental friendly and what is not, what could be used for fertilizer, what could be burnt down, and what could be used for what. All of that need to come in place. Now, when it comes to water, there really should be a water treatment center. A water treatment facility, because and in doing that, we're really not there yet. Just like I always say, Gambia is 57 years old, and we are 57 years behind. We're 57 years behind time, and as a result, it makes it very difficult. And that's why someone needs to start. This government can start. They can start the planning process and get into it, getting all the sewer water also go to the water treatment center where that can be treated, so that the safe water could be released into our water, into our ocean, and things like that. And the bad part of it should be extracted and treated as well. So very, very important. There's a lot of steps to it. And I know I heard Alice at some point. I got muted and I couldn't hear anything, and because I'm moving from inside the building to the car, and my car has a Bluetooth, and the Bluetooth trying to pick up from the headphone. I had to shut the headphone down, and so I ran into all this trouble. I couldn't hear you guys, but now I'm my son finished his game and won it, and going to a next game. So we're taking a little break, going away from there. But I do wanted to say that. That's where I want to stop for now. All of those planning need to take place first before we get into it.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for that. All right, so I think we can move into the second segment of the show, which is the white paper.
I before we complete, I just wanted to say something. What Sam said.
Go ahead. Okay.
Sam had a very, very, very good idea. I support it too. When we move the dump site, we can even build a hospital. I will not even build a hospital there. I will not even sleep there. I will not even build a house there. You're laughing. That's dangerous, because the place is moved, but the poison and everything, the toxic soil is there. You cannot use that. Even here in Germany, before building a house, You have to call the institution, they come and make a probe from the sun and everything to make sure that later the people will not be sick because of anything coming, in the air from the ground, things like that. You have to be very, very, very vigilant with such things. I mean, the idea is good because of gap and so, but there, especially hospital, no way. That is a no-go. I'll not even sleep there. I'll not even sleep there.
The thing is, builders know what they need to do. And the type of hospital that I'm talking about is not going to be built by someone that don't know, that is just going to build without really cleaning the place first. There is cleaning,
I understand
preparation, there's a lot that can be done there. I know the dump site is the dump site where they dump waste. The waste get dumped in a place and they burn them on the surface. And of course, just like in the Western world, they can build anything anywhere, pretty much. And there are certain things that need to take place first before that. You don't just close the dump site and go build a hospital. You close the dump site and clean the area and do all the treatment that you need to do. And then do what is safe for the environment. Make sure that it's going to be safe. And once they put that concrete down on that, there's nothing that's coming out of that.
Then it's good.
They're going to treat it.
Good. But
the facility can be reused.
It's not just like shut the place down and turn around and build a whole hospital. It's gotta
I'm saying that because I've seen around Bakote dump sign already. You can see that people build houses everywhere.
Well, I live. You keep mentioning this, but now you are picking on me now because I am just right there.
Because you live there, that's why, and then the place you visited there in Talinding, you told me, you see, some people will build. When you say here is a space that they just come and build like that, that's why I'm wondering, what is the Ministry of Lands doing? Because they should not, for example, dump site when there is space, not to just sell it or give it to people, because it's dangerous. You cannot. It's not believable at that time. Here what they do in such things, what Sam said, they can build, no problem. But before building, sometimes it takes years. These German people, they'll be coming with their baggers and then every day, digging and then testing, the probes, and before human beings can live there, because they don't play with such things. And that can take years, 5 years, 3 years sometimes. Till they say, okay, we have seen that there is no more hazardous anything, then they give a green light to build a house. You understand?
Yeah.
They don't play with that because they know the dangers.
So now, we understand that part, Alas. We have to process. The place has to be processed, especially at that dump site if we're supposed to move it. There's a mechanism to do that, like Sam explains. The builders would know. That's why he was just saying that point. But
I know. I support his idea too. We can use that place for something different.
Something different.
We can even use it as these big
or maybe like a stadium or something. It could be anything.
Or anything, because the space is there. But here, we should not only think of this space, but the environmental hazards. At this point,
like I said, those of us who live there, when there is fire burning there on this dump site, you can inhale it, you can smell it. And again, this might have side effects, but at the end of the day, the most important thing now, you cannot, unfetch the split water. Now, all we have to do is to maybe, try to go and change this area. I think that's what the KMC is focusing on, how we can, abandon that site.
Exactly. I hope it's not late. I hope it's not late, because
there's nothing late in life, because what is happening is
that
the
people living there, they are already sick. Believe me.
But now it's on water that has already been poured on the ground. How are you gonna do that? So we shouldn't be talking about whether the people are sick or not. Yes, that is happening. But now, how can we change it moving forward? I think that's what the municipality is working on, and it's a big agenda on their plate.
That is important.
Yeah.
It's even late.
So again, it's late. It should have been done years ago. But again, this is Gambia for you. That's why we are here to sensitize
No,
our
it's
people.
good. It's good. It's good. Sam,
Yeah.
Sam,
So
are you okay?
it's okay.
Yes, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah. So
Uh,
quickly, let's jump on the government's white paper on TRRC. What are your takes on that? A lot of people are applauding the fact that they approve 260, I think 260 out of 265. Only two cases that they did not agree with. The international community, but some people are cautious whether it will be implemented. The implementation part, people are cautious about that. But as far as approving all those TRRC is something that it looks like many people were happy about, and especially the victims. Now, what do we think in our panel here? The feasibility aspect of it, implementation.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam, you can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Sawane.
Yeah. So
can you hear me?
We can hear you. Sam.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh.
Can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you. Yeah.
But whether you can hear.
Is it on your end? Yeah. Hello, Sam. Sam,
you are on mute.
you can hear me? Alas.
Sam is on mute now. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say here is that it's on mute. Yeah, that's it.
Sam, you are on mute.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
But can you hear us?
Okay. All right. All right. So let me get this here. Yeah, I can hear you guys now. Can you hear me too?
Yeah.
All right, good.
So the white paper.
So, yeah.
So we jump into the white paper quickly. What are our takes on it? The implementation phase of it?
Well,
so
first, I would say that give credit where credit is due. I would give credit to this government for really accepting almost all of them, except the couple that you said, and I will come to that. I would say that that is a nice job by the government. It's really showing that the president is trying to change things around. Number one, changing the cabinet. That's one. That's the step in the right direction. I'm not sure that all the ministers that are still there are still supposed to be there, but at least changes have been made. Now, accepting the TRRC recommendations is very important, very, very important. Even though there are pressures all over from the world, from the international community, all those representatives from other countries are there. United States Embassy is there. The British High Commission is there. EU is there. They're all looking forward to seeing that this government accepts the TRRC recommendations because of what happened in the past, because they want to make sure that this comes to an end. Just like I've always said in my speeches and things that I do, I say is to end impunity is very, very important. Ending impunity is important to in any government because this is how you can say, all right, it's not going to be business as usual. It's time to stop this nonsense. It's time to stop and give people their fair chance. It's time to start looking at justice because there are people that lost their lives and people that had family members killed. There are people that had family members tortured and all kinds of things. And you may not have known this, but the day that Senator Sabali went to TRRC and testified, from that day when I saw him testified and all of those testimony that he did there, the first thing I did, I released audios and I said the government should immediately take action by removing and putting people on investigative suspension people that were involved in any of these atrocities during Jammeh's time. That is the right thing to do. When you are in government or in any administration, you see people that have committed some crimes, they've committed some problems, they've committed something, even theft. You should put them on investigative suspension so they no longer work with. Hold on, the kids need more money. Sorry. Here you go. Sorry about that, but anyway, so that number one, you're sending a strong message to the people that if you commit stuff like this, we're not going to tolerate it. And number two, that is going to discourage everyone from currently doing it. Like, for example, you see our paramilitary out there when there's a riot or even a peaceful demonstration, they go and send tear gas to people and really torture people and really hit people and hurt people. These are all stuff that really should not happen in a democratic society. So what the government did now is by accepting this is one way to say that this is a government for the people, by the people, which is all an indication of democracy. So that is a good step in the right direction by holding people accountable. So it's going to make everyone working in the government now, hey, we better be careful now, because especially in the security force, if you go overboard, you think you're doing your job above and beyond and hurting other people, it can come back and bite you. That's what the message is. And the second thing is the whole world and all of Gambia can see nowadays justice. They can feel like, all right, now we have a government that is going to hold people accountable and hold people responsible for their actions. That is the message that it sends. However, I don't believe in pardoning the CIA or not CIA, SIS director or NIA director because he tampered with evidence. All right. I'm not going to talk about the legal aspect of it because I'm not a legal person. But what I do want to say is I want to say, if you're doing something like this, leave no stones unturned. OK, people must sleep in the bed that they made. It's just like if you make a bed, you must sleep in it. You must lie in the bed that you made. So with Usman Sow also tampering with evidence, I think is something that should be prosecuted, because it's in the Constitution that when you tamper with evidence that is very valuable in the court of law, is a violation of the Constitution. So I think he needs to be prosecuted for that. And I think the government should take action and remove him as well, to send that very same strong message that if you do something wrong, you're going to be held accountable for. This is where you can create that playing field. And for all security personnel to understand that what they were doing in Gambia in the past years or in the past century or the past administration are not going to be tolerated anymore. You need to play by the book. You need to follow the Constitution. If you're a law enforcement officer, you need to follow the law yourself. You need to treat people with respect and dignity. You need to look at these people as, what if this was my mother? What if this was my father? What if this was my wife? What if this was my husband? What if this was my brother or sister or my son or child? Anyhow, that's the way to look at it, and follow the law and do the right thing by doing your job correctly, and not go overboard and be above and beyond and try to hurt other people because you want to satisfy one person, because it can come back and haunt you one day. And that is the day that these people are facing, because now they're going to dance to their music. And that is the music they created themselves. So no one in the security force should be surprised with this. And they should all know that this is something that they need to think about it first. Think before you act. So that's what I want to stop.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Sam.
very good insight.
Already.
Alas, can we get your insight on that?
Yeah, I'm with Sam. I don't think I can say more. I mean, it's very
Yeah, with Sam.
important.
You're not against Sam.
No, this time not Sam. This time I am full with you. Yeah, you said it right, and it's a message. And My only problem is that the president trying to pick and choose with this thing. That's why I have problems. And it should be respected as it is without interest and biasness, I think. And as Sam said, when I don't know exactly, but when some people are tampering with evidences and things
With
like
evidence,
that,
yep, yep.
I think Barrow should not do that himself, taking a pen and the list, good and not good. But it should come from the Minister of Justice to be on the safe side, you know.
Yeah, and
Then
it's all about
I cannot be
consistency.
picking and choosing. That's get it.
Yep.
That's not okay because I can choose fairly, I can choose wrongly. Because Gambia, as we said, we are all families, So things like this, you can be very biased sometimes and even leave the biggest criminal away just because maybe you are interrelated or how to call it. That's why such things is always good. Leave it to the Minister of Justice because the president is not justice. He didn't learn law. He's just a president. So he should be advised from the Minister of Justice or to agree with him to do that and not just to but the recommendation is good because the whole world is watching us and even the president himself is praised all over and so he should also show the world, okay, people, you talk about me and my democracy, I'm good in it. Instead of the other way around. You talk about my democracy, no, I am a dictator. And these people, they help us in many things just because we showing that, or the president is showing that it's a democratic state, you know. So these are plus points. So for me, that's the only place where I have a little bit of problems. This picking and choosing should not be. As Sam said, if you make your bed, you have to sleep on it. I don't point finger, but I think that should be dealt fairly.
So, yeah.
That's it.
Okay. So now, the two people that is Usman So and the two people that the former is it the former former who was the second person besides Usman So, Mr.
I don't know. I don't know who is free and who is not free, who is not recommended. Just say I don't even know them. I just wanted to. It's just an advice towards the president. Things like this, I would not even waste my time. When then I call the Minister of Justice to decide what to do, but I cannot just take it because if I do that, Barrow is a human being. And such cases you cannot just, you can sympathize somebody, you can feel sorry for somebody, you can be mad of somebody. So that's why people say law, and then the law. You can see that the law is not having any heart or emotion because if not, it will not function. You understand what I mean? But the individuals and so I don't know them. It's also not my business, and I'm not going to even say anything about them. I don't know them.
Yeah, I
Well,
think Usman So is one of them, and then the other
it's
one
the
is
missionary judges, the missionary judges, right? There was something about them.
yeah, the missionary judges
I don't know who decided
was
that for
Yeah.
Barrow
But
to do
yeah,
that.
yeah. So the way I look at this is, yes, the president can make a decision. He can take the recommendations from the justice minister in any leadership capacity. There is one word that from a leadership standpoint that you want to watch, and that is consistency. Is this consistent? Are you going to allow others to be punished, but you're going to forgive somebody else or two people or a group of people? What is the reason behind that? Why are they being excused when they also committed a crime? Even though there is a degree in each case of the criminal activity involved in there, I feel like everyone need to face their punishment. All right. If you go, if you know, if you go to commit a crime, someone also commit a different crime. The differences between the crimes will determine the outcome of the judgment. But they all at least face the court. So the facing the court is the consistency in there. So taking a disciplinary action against all of them is the consistency there, rather than take all of them, but two. Take all the recommendations, but leave two out. Those two protect certain class of people. And that protection given to them when they've also played a part is what's inconsistent with the whole thing. So that's what I'm saying. From a leadership standpoint, consistency is very important. I mean, you're either going to punish all of them or forgive all of them. Well, you really want to be consistent. And in this case, there's not a simple thing of forgiving, and you can't even forgive these people because they did it to other people and other people that are protected by the law. So they should face the law.
Only these people
That's the way I
can
look at
forgive
it.
you.
Yeah. Only those people can say, yeah, I've forgiven you. Even if those people say I've forgiven you, well, someone that breaks the law should still face justice, no matter what. They should still face justice. So that's the way I look at it.
But Sam,
That
if you say some people hamper with the evidences and things like that, in that case, I think when I'm borrow, before I do anything, then I try to make sure that the evidences are there before taking any action, because if it's very dangerous, because these people are coming to process again, and maybe one witness working there is also being accused. When he goes to court and try to reveal that, so that means that is going to show the president again you were wrong with your decision. You understand what I mean? So that's why I said it's very dangerous. You cannot do these things with emotions. If the Justice Department do their job, you are a president, you can sign after for them. But the process should go through there. If not, as you said, either you leave everybody free or but you cannot pick and choose in this case. That's something different. Even if they are NPP or I don't know, even the parties and so, you should be careful because it has nothing to do with it.
That's why I said prosecution. That's why I use the word prosecute. When you prosecute, you're prosecuting them in the court of law. And whatever the judgment is against them, that's what we go by. Even though law is funny, law is very critical. I can't interpret the law. The Supreme Court of the country is there to interpret the law. That's part of their job. So we'll let them do that part. But one thing we know for sure is the commonalities around all of these. And if you see the witnesses sit and testify in front of television, and they've been recorded, you have all these witnesses, not like circumstantial witnesses or circumstantial cases. You have witnesses that said, yes, I did this. You have people that said, yes, so-and-so did this. Yes, you can take it to the court. And a TRRC is not a court. Is an institution that was put in place to find the truth and bring the truth out. When they bring the truth out, I think they need to be taken to court. And what the government did now is one thing I've said a long time ago, like I said, when Senator Sabali testified, I said all of those people need to be removed out of the government immediately. They need to put them on investigative suspension, suspend them, get them out of the uniform, get them out of there until you take them to court. When you take them to the court, let the court prove, let them prove themselves. You know.
Yes.
So
Barrow was very careful because as far as, so for example, that is not as guilty. When they are not guilty, he was careful that he cannot punish somebody who is not guilty, because he was waiting for to know that okay, somebody did something.
That's why they need to go to court.
On the other hand, it was also right because he cannot just say, "Look, I don't like you. You are guilty." You know, so that can also be a mistake. It's the same thing now to say, "Okay, I forgive somebody," or somebody to take out somebody from the list. It's the same danger because the court is coming and the reality and the fact is coming.
No. So even in the United States, I'll give an example. At my job, I've done this not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. No, more than that. I've seen people that were caught stealing. The evidence is there. I have a camera. I've called a detective and reported it. It's here. All right. I have all the evidences, but they've not been taken to court yet. Yeah. I have the right to suspend that person on investigative suspension. When you put somebody on investigative suspension, you stop them from coming to work and let the court deal with that person until they are proven guilty or innocent.
Guilty,
when they are proven,
the right way.
Yeah, that's the right way. And when you put them on investigative suspension, you still continue their salary because you don't know yet whether they're guilty or not, right? You continue the salary, you get paid, but you don't have access to this place. You cannot come here. That way they don't tamper with any evidence. You cannot do that way. They cannot interfere with anything. No one can interfere with them. So you continue the salary, you continue to pay them, and then wait for the court case. Once it's been proven in the court that this person is guilty, that's when the court takes action. And whatever disciplinary action that takes there, it goes with it. And at that point, as an employer, you have the right to now say, you know what, you're terminated. That's when you officially terminate the person, and that's when you officially stop their pay. If they are found innocent, well, you've already been paying them anyway. So all you have to do is just bring them back to work. So you don't take any risk in there. And these people that were found or were mentioned by Senator Sabali and all those people that really committed those crimes against human beings should have been put on investigative suspension and not allow them to benefit anything or do anything with the government. They should be completely taken out. And on the other hand, in any court in the world, you know, there's always, you've seen the court make a plea deal with people that want to be upfront, people that want to tell you nothing but the truth. They want to tell you everything that you want to know to help your case and to help you prosecute other people that were also involved. There's a little bit of leniency, and I think that's why TRRC recommended Senator Sabali to be pardoned.
Okay.
Even if the government doesn't pardon him completely, the government, you know, they can, okay, they chose to not to do anything like that. But I think when the court, when it gets to the court, by him doing all of that and telling them all the people that were involved, I think he will receive some credit, even though he could be punished as well, but may receive some credit or can receive some credit for really testifying and telling people the truth, rather than those who sat there and lied in front of everyone.
Yeah. So this is correct. So Sam, you have a point there. With Senator Sabali's case, I think the fact there is because he was giving up information willingly, and he also was a victim. I think that's why TRRC had perhaps made that arrangement with him, or they have seen him as a way to give him some kind of amnesty. But the government, they have the choice to say no, because they don't feel like he should be given. He also have a lot of responsibility that he needs to carry on his shoulder. Yeah, that's fine. I think you're taking that side that, you know, it makes sense. The recommendations make sense either way, you know, either government accepted or not. I think that's a fair analysis. The question that I have is that with regards to his case, the government argued that when he was tampering with those evidence, it was outside of the time that, you know, the Jammeh has been, you know, the time of Jammeh, which is after 2017. So that is not something that TRRC has been assigned to do. They are assigned to do during the time of Jammeh up to the time that Jammeh ends, the cases that happen there. So it is a law is funny. It depends on how you look at it. So it might not be what the TRR is saying that is that even though he did it, he tampered with the evidence after Jammeh left, but still that evidence is part of TRRC work and he should be punished. So it depends on who is looking at it. Okay. I don't know what you guys think.
That is something for the Minister of Justice.
Yeah.
And, he can.
I mean, we can take a side on that here, but
Yeah,
What is what do you,
what I think about it is, yes, a minister of justice can look into it and make a decision based on what he wants to do. Now, in this case, yes, it is true that Osman Sao's case was after Jammeh left. But when you break the law, when you run when you're driving and you run a red light, okay, you run a red light, you committed a crime. That's it. Whether the red light was there before the police officer sat on the corner to watch you, or or after, it doesn't matter. You ran a red light, you ran a red light. You violated the Constitution, you violated the Constitution. Whether that was before TRRC or Jammeh or whatever it is, violation of a Constitution is a violation of Constitution. It doesn't matter when you did it. So what should happen is justice. That's the way I look at it. He needs to face justice.
okay, so that is fine. Now Dr. Boom case. Dr. Boom is the one that goes around giving medicine to
Is that
people.
Mbub?
Okay.
With 8 victims and so forth. He being a doctor support Jammeh's false accusation, and he also has been banned from. Or you guys think that's a fair analysis? That's a fair. That's a fair game.
I think it's fair. If he is a doctor, he knows better. As a doctor, you should know better. If Jammeh was really curing people or not, whatever you contributed to that, if it impacts the lives of the people, he knows better. He should know better. And I think it's the right thing to revoke his license and never allow him to practice medicine in our country anymore. And I think he needs to be prosecuted. I don't care who is who. All I care about is justice. I want the consistency. I want the truth for the people. I want the victims to see that their perpetrators actually face justice. So I think he needs to be prosecuted as well.
Now the other thing is,
that's why I said it's difficult, because when we talk about law, we have to go according to the law, which is not easy in Gambia, because we take things always more of emotion, on us religion, on how to call it all.
Exactly.
But the law is there,
things.
and then it's there for to be respected and to be dealt with. And
that's why I said that's why we have the Supreme Court of the country, right? Let them interpret the law. So all the Ministry of Justice should do is prosecute them, let them go to court. If the court says they are guilty, they are guilty. If the court doesn't have any evidence and free them, they're free, man. That's it. That's all I believe in. Yeah, that's the way that we cannot sit here and determine that. What we need to do is really, or what I'd like to do is to see that they've all been prosecuted, and whatever the court comes out with, I would fully respect that.
Fair deal.
Now, the question that I have here is that everybody is saying this is going to cost money. It might cost, it happened in Sierra Leone. It cost them almost close to 300,000, in dollars, to be able to go after these cases individually and prosecute, bring them to court. So do you think Gambia has the capacity to do this? If not, who you think would be able to help them?
You said $300,000
sorry, 300 million, sorry.
300 million, we have for the TRRC.
No, $200 million, I believe.
Dollars, yeah. If I told that we are serious with it, there's no problem to talk with the World Bank about it, because they know what the money is for and what we are going to use it for. And we can even have donors, only if we show them that we are serious with this thing and we want to use it for this game, and they can help us. Because normally we don't have that money. That's why many people were very angry that our new constitution costed 120 million and nothing came out of it, as if we have a lot of money. It's a very poor country to play with 120 million, just like that.
I have a couple of parts to take on that, to comment on that. One, my response is, yes, it's worth it. Do you know how much one life cost? We don't know. And we can't put any money on life. So if one life got destroyed, somebody just got killed for nonsense reason, it's worth spending anything to find justice for that person. That's my belief. So I think, so one, yes, it needs to be done. And two, the international community, like I said, I've been involved in this and they're watching, they're putting pressure on all of this. And they're willing to give us money to prosecute this. They will be willing to help us with anything we need. They're willing to help us with anything we need to get this done. But we can't look at money and forget lives. Life is more important than anything in this world. So the people that lost their family members are very hurt, and they can never get that. Even if you take all the money in the world and give it to them, they will never get their family members back.
So you're saying that it doesn't matter how much it costs. We must prosecute them if it means to get loans or go to other.
That is democracy. That is democracy. We need to follow the law. We need to prosecute them. We will have agents. We will have the international community will help us. They are willing. The U.S. government will help. The British government will help. EU will help. They've helped in situations that are less serious than this. So this is more important because
do you think this administration will be serious? So it's just not gonna be like a white paper and they just sit in their corner and fold their hands. Do you think they will push this? You guys tell us.
I don't think, because as I said at the beginning, the whole world is watching and how Mr. Barrow is going to do this thing. So I think
he has no choice.
If not, he has a lot to explain. And about the new constitution, the 120 million, because there are people giving money. They want to see always also where that money is put into. On the other hand, many people used to say, what do they have to say in our country, or is our country, they are Europeans and so. Yeah, it's good, but without them, unfortunately, we cannot do anything. That's it.
So
they are the people who are feeding us.
He who feeds you, makes decisions for you.
That's it. No, it's not the best. It's not the best thing, and we cannot always.
I don't look at it.
It's not the best thing, but we have no other choice.
I don't look at it that way. I look at just doing the right thing. That's it. Just do the right thing.
But
you do the right thing.
He who feeds you would have some decision over you.
Well, not necessarily some decisions over you. He who feeds you can tell you to do certain things, and you have the right to say, you know what, get out of here. No, I'm not doing it.
Well, you're not gonna get fed.
You can stop feeding, and you will manage your own finance at that point. That is going to help you manage your own finance.
But that's how it's supposed to be. But it's not realistically. That's how
it. Sometimes it helps. You see this. I mentioned it here. This country making their own fertilizer now, just because they know that they are not going to get anything from Putin again, and their farmers are there. So one time they can make their own fertilizer, just like that. So sometimes it helps.
It helps sometimes. But you brought up a good point here, Sawani, because accepting TRRC recommendations is one thing. Actually doing them is another. Okay, and now that the president accepted all this, I commend him for that. I am going to sit on the sideline and watch to make sure he also follows his own words. He also followed through to make sure this happens. Very, very important, because like I said, accepting is one thing, doing it is another. So we need to be able to walk the talk. The president need to be able to, from like I said, he since this with this new administration, he started off. I won't say started off in a good note, but he is on the right track now when it comes to what he's doing so far. He's showing the Gambian people and the international community is not going to be business as usual. And that's what he said on his speech. So, right? That's what he said.
Good point. But then can this be translated? Let's not speak out loud yet. Let's see the Constitution. Let's wait for the Constitution.
When he's doing
I think he has made two steps. The cabinet People were happy with it somewhat. Not all, but somewhat. Because still some ministers are there that are still in the questions. Now he has implemented out of 265, 263. People are okay, feel good about that.
Very good.
That's very good. But still, there's some people question the other two. Let's come to the Constitution. I think the Constitution, with the term limit and what people wanted, not to have more than 2 terms every president. Let's see if Barrow will pass that. If he passed that, and I hope his people are listening, or he's listening, if he agrees on that, he will be a champion of democracy. Yeah, if he agrees on that, because Gambian people don't want somebody to go 15 years in power. It doesn't matter how many you have done before. They wanted 2 terms. No retroactive. I mean, no argument about retroactive or so. If Barrow can agree that after these 5 years, is this 2 terms finished in that constitution, and that gets passed, I think he will champion democracy. Not only that, he will be an example in the world. Gambia would also be an example in the world. But if he argues that other one doesn't count, or he wants to start fresh from now, all this effort that he's been doing would be undermined somewhat. This is just a thought that I think,
right.
Well, yeah. So in that, I know you brought, this is completely different from what we're talking about, but you brought up a good point here. That, the Constitution part of it, yes, it's important because, that's what I task our National Assembly members to make sure that we have a new Constitution. That is their job, to make sure we have a new Constitution. And in that Constitution, all of those recommendations that were made in the draft Constitution, they need to look at all of that. You need to make sure that we pass this Constitution. And yes, we do want 2 terms. We want 2 terms. And Barrow, I think the president put himself in a different situation here, or in some kind of situation here, which is a catch-22, what I call catch-22. Because technically he's saying, or what he said was, the coalition agreement for him to serve 3 years and then step down and step away and conduct elections was something he did not want to do. He wants to follow the Constitution and follow his constitutional mandate. The Constitution does say that any president, you have a 5-year term. That is a mandate. It's not by force that you have to be there 5 years. What if you die? You can't say, well, God, I'm not coming. I'm going to stay and serve my 5 years. No, you can leave at any time. So that 3-year agreement was not honored. He went for 5 years. So going for 5 years, to me, is like, you can't eat your cake and have it. You now ate a cake, a 5-year cake. That 5 years cannot come back. It would have been 3 years. If it was 3 years and stepped down at 3 years, that would be one thing. And then after that, at some point, he can run for presidency and then come and run for another 2 terms. Okay. But the 2-term limit really need to be in our Constitution. That really need to be there because that's what Gambians want. We don't want to see a president going past 2 terms, because we've seen it in the world and we've seen them how they end up turning into. We've seen it in our own country, how those presidents ended up. So 2-term limit, get out, let somebody else come in. 2-term limit, get out. So that way Gambian people can, that's healthy, that's democracy.
That way, even for the presidents, because the danger is that they fall into this addictive situation. That means they never have in their head that they have to go out. So that commits them to be even a dictator, because they are resisting. They think that the world is for them and the chair is for them, So I'm trying to move up to 30 years. And we have seen it. You can see it even now, what's going on in the world. That is all this sickness. People come to this situation, they'll be sick. They can only create disaster at that moment. So it's even healthy for them. Like
Yeah.
Obama, you have your money, go and enjoy it.
There's
with
always
your
a life.
family
I
in
always
peace.
call it. There's always a life after
Many
presidency,
people
and
do
that,
that. Many
that
people
life.
do that. Many people don't do that mistake. Ruling. After having their money, they have their mansion. They know that the money they have, they can live with it. They say bye bye. You know, that's what here I see it. You know that you see even a minister being accused of anything, and he's angry. He said, "Okay, then if I am faulty, then I have to resign and say bye bye." That's the way. But in Africa, it's a fight. You know, you have
Exactly.
to fight with them. You have to bring gun. They'll still want to stay there. You know, so this mentality we have to change too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
have to change. Yeah, because if you think around the world, the best presidents in the world, or the best presidents that served in the world, anywhere in the world, including the United States of America, they've served their terms and left. We didn't say that America didn't say President Obama was great, so we should let him continue. They didn't say George Bush or Clinton was great, let's keep
Yeah,
him,
the
or Abraham
constitution is
Lincoln.
there. The
The
constitution is there.
Constitution is what they follow. No matter how good you are, when your time is up, get out. Let somebody else come in. That's what I believe.
It's a healthy thing, I believe. You know.
Yep. Yep.
So,
All
but
right. So I think that concludes. If you guys, you know, we have really exhausted these two topics, I believe, and then our audience will definitely get a takeaway. What are your last thoughts?
Final thought is the president accepted TRRC recommendations. Let him do it. I'm going to advise him to follow it all to the T. Make sure everything gets done. People that need to be prosecuted, get them prosecuted. Show the world that you mean business. Show the world that you mean democracy. Show the world that you're there for the people and you're governing by the people and for the people, just like democracy. So if the president does that, I think he will get very good credit for that as well. Not just accepting and not doing anything. Accept it and follow through. Make sure things get done the way it needs to be. That is part of his legacy. And if this falls apart, that's going to impact his legacy. If it goes through, it's going to give a tremendous impact on his legacy for one of the good things that he did. So my advice is follow it to the T. Yep.
And Alas, what is your take or your final
yeah,
words?
I'm with Sam. I mean, if he does it as Sam said, he's even going to have credit for that, you know, from the Gambian people side, and then people will believe in him also. As you said, I mean, till now, what he is doing is okay. That means maybe a lot of Gambians are clapping for him. But let us follow it up and see, because I think now he understands that everything what happened now is people will say Barrow.
But what about if you use this moment and say, let me stay longer?
I mean, he should know
No
himself,
one is
because
good enough to stay forever. No one is good enough
when
to
we
stay
say
long.
that, yeah,
One more
that's it.
time. Add one more time.
Because you can be good this time, next time you are a criminal, and after you are a dictator. You know, you never know. So one can be good today and good tomorrow also. You never know. So I'll take the American style, good or bad. When the time comes, you go and say hello, and then there is no pushing and fighting, and you can go and enjoy your life, because at least you have something to eat and have a good life till you die with your family. Then why should I kill myself? Or hold on tight there till they come and make coup d'etat and I find myself in a country where I don't know anybody, things like that. We've seen all those nonsense. Where people got that money, those people should have gone and enjoy their life somewhere private, even in the Gambia, without leaving the Gambia. But because of greed, you see how it ends. And I hope that Mr. Barrow understood it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I think it was a wonderful discussion, and Sam, take a safe ride. Alas, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And tomorrow is Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day for you guys.
We had here on Thursday.
Yep, same to you.
Thursday was holiday here.
Yeah.
We
Enjoy
had
it,
Father's
guys.
Day. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.
Yep, enjoy it. And thank you. Yep.
Take care.